Deroy Murdock, Fox News contributor, senior fellow at the American Spectator, contributor at the Daily Caller. Goodness, very busy. Roma, Daravi, she was the Kudlow aide, kept me out of trouble in the White House, strategic comms director. And Brooke Goldstein, founder of the Lawfare Project. Hello, Brooke. Brooke, let me start with you because you're furthest away. I want to be even-handed. I know you've been on the network today. Anything changing at Columbia? I mean, I talked to Dershowitz last night about this whole thing. I know what your views are. DEI fosters anti-Semitism, and anti-Semitism is the ultimate hate speech. When will Columbia or the other universities, the elites, any of them for that matter, understand that? DEI goes to anti-Semitism, and that goes to the hate speech.
Well, DEI is not just about fostering anti-Semitism. It fosters anti-Americanism, and that's what really this is all about. It's not just a Jewish issue. This is an issue that all Americans should care about. You know, your past guest mentioned that we are at war, and not only are we funding the enemy without, Iran to the tune of billions of dollars, paying, you know, Russia and China, dealing with them economically and for gas, we are funding the enemy within. We are pumping millions of dollars to these institutes of higher education that are radicalizing our population. And frankly, Biden's Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights has completely failed the Jewish community and the American people. There have been dozens of complaints that have been outstanding for years. My organization, the Lawfare Project, filed the first complaint after Trump's executive order, which allowed Title VI of the Civil Rights Act to apply to religion, to the Jewish community. That complaint from 2019 is still outstanding. And to think, if the Department of Education had dealt with Columbia University in 2019, would we be seeing now what we are seeing? And guess what? All of those protesters, the 108 protesters that were arrested, and thank you to the NYPD for doing that, they were just let out. New York is no bail, and they are right now back at Columbia University with their pro-Hamas and pro-terror chanting and organizing.
Roma, if the president, no, actually, if the boards of directors, if the corporate boards of directors of these schools don't change, the policies won't change. The president's report to the boards. It's just that simple. We learned that with Harvard. We learned that with MIT and Penn. We're seeing it with... Now, the woman running Columbia may not be the worst, because at least she tossed them into jail for one night. But we have a lot more work to do, is my point. There's no victory here. There's no quasi-semi, not even a small victory.
We do. You know, right now, American college campuses are, frankly, breeding grounds for anti-Semitism. And that should scare everyone, not just Jewish Americans. It should scare every American. You know, this is supposed to be the highest form of education in this country. People come from all over the world to attend our universities. And what are they seeing right now? What is the world seeing right now? Hamas flags being flown on American college campuses.
Terrific.
They're seeing American students and American people who are not students, who are trespassers on these campuses, chanting death to America and death to Israel. So, you know, there's no way to excuse that form of speech. There's no way to excuse these actions. You know, I'm thankful to see that the NYPD actually arrested these individuals, and they will be, you know, having that trespasser violation on their record now forever. But that's just step one. You know, we're going to see this repeatedly unless the Biden administration changes the narrative on anti-Semitism in this country. It's really become a larger issue.
Deroy Murdock, a better story, a better story. A good interview with Fox Digital, Melania Trump and Rick Grinnell, who was a foreign policy advisor in the Trump administration. A unity story, okay, a pro-America story. Melania will be speaking once again to the Log Cabin Republicans, a group I've spoken to many times. I know you have as well. Bringing in gays and others and so forth, bringing people together to help America. I mean, Melania in this interview talks at some length about the values of freedom and equality, not equality of results, but just generic equality. So there's something good going on.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And the basic message of the log cabin Republicans is not this whole transgender thing and, let's talk naughty to your 5- and 6-year-old. It's about things like national security and economic growth and having people working and being able to make enough money to pay their bills and all that sort of thing. And there are many gay Americans in this country who are not interested in this transgender agenda and a lot of things that are sort of borderline pedophilia. So I'm very happy to see Melania is giving that speech. Rick Grenell was, of course, the first gay man ever to serve in American cabinet as acting director of national intelligence. I think he was. And I think that this is a group Trump is addressed, and I think there are a good number of gay Americans who are going to vote Republican this fall because the whole transgender agenda, all that sort of thing is just not very appealing at all. It's quite horrifying.
Brooke, can I ask you one more thing? This is not a unity story particularly. Well, it is a unity story in the wrong direction. This Kathleen Maher, who runs NPR, the whistleblower got fired. In the newsroom at NPR, let's see, 87 Democrats, 0 Republicans. She works for had worked for the World Economic Forum at Davos. I'm just reading this. The Atlantic Council, the Council on Foreign Relations. I mean, she's a complete left-winger. She's already said publicly she doesn't believe in free speech. And they get about $250 million a year from the federal government. What do you make of that, Brooke?
I say good riddance to bad rubbish. Absolutely insanity that the taxpayer is funding politicized speech on our public radio waves. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how NPR turns itself around.
Yeah. You're holding your breath, Brooke, on that NPR turnaround? I'm not holding my breath. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I think that sums it up. I'm sorry we're out of time. Good riddance to bad rubbish, though. That's a nice way to end it. Deroy Murdock, Roma, Daravi, Brooke Goldstein, thanks to all of you.